Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Trina here with a new video for you. In this video, we'll dive into the information on Valac Clara from the Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun anime. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying just sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So let's get started. Dun! Rolling to the scene and making her grand exciting entrance, it's Clara. I hope you're all ready to play and have fun. As a young demon growing up, Valac Clara has always been a bright and playful girl with a big, similarly cheerful and energetic family. Clara falls under the summoning umbrella of abilities, being able to recreate and pull out any object, item, or person she has seen previously out of one of the various pockets lining her skirt. Inanimate things are copied and creatures or people are summoned. However, she never really found anyone she could genuinely trust or have as a good friend outside of her family, as other demons often just took advantage of her copying and summoning abilities, only agreeing to play with her in return for her giving her things. Thankfully for Clara, that was no longer the case when she met with Iruma-kun in Bablis Demon School. Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun originally began airing in October 2019 and finished airing its second season in March 2020. The anime series is a comedy fantasy shonen anime with themes focusing on school, the supernatural, mythology, and isekai. The original Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun manga series, written by Osamu Nishi, was picked up by the Japanese animation studio BANDAI NAMCO Pictures. BANDAI NAMCO Pictures is also known for its work with other anime, such as the Gintama series. The Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun anime is directed by Makoto Moriwaki. Clara Valac is voiced by Ayaka Asai in the Japanese dub, who's also the talented voice behind characters such as Nonako Sasaki from Mitsuboshi Colors and Hazuki Kato from Sound Euphonium. In the English dub, Clara is instead voiced by the talented Kaylee Mills. Kaylee Mills is also the voice actors behind Runa Yomizuki from Kagekuri and Sasha Necron from the Misfit of Demon King Academy anime as well. As we get stuck into our deep dive focused on Clara, as we mentioned previously, she's a very cheerful, optimistic, and bright young demon girl with seemingly endless energy. Her childish behavior has the power to sweep anyone up in her chaotic antics and desires. However, she is often seen as unusual and weird by others and has grown up feeling distance from those who would have potentially been her friends because people didn't quite understand her. Those who did end up approaching her often had ill intentions. They learned of her ability to create objects from her pockets, and the easy access to snacks and endless supply of toys and games she was so proud of summoning was often an appealing reward for playing with her, or in other demons' worlds, putting up with her. Clara had to deal with either being isolated from others or only people having got close to her and give her attention if she gave them materialistic things every time. Despite her loving and supporting family and home life, it wasn't enough to leave a gap in her heart. She began to think this was simply all she'd be able to expect in her life, that her family would be the only ones to truly understand and love her for who she was without expecting something in return. Despite her bubbly nature and constant source of energy, beneath all that, she was lonely. Her immature behavior and potential inability to act grown up may be a result of having to constantly pull up this facade of being easily manipulated and a good target to take advantage of because it kept people near her, even if they were only using her. Clara is actually quite bright in this regard. However, she is fully aware that she is being taken advantage of. She knows what others really think of her. But she needs to fit in. This was the only way she could think of to have a place in society outside of home with other demons. However, one day, whilst attending school, as usual, she ended up meeting two new people who would change her life. Asmodeus Alice and Iruma Suzuki. Their chance meeting together when Clara rolled and crashed her way into their lives changed everything. Whilst Alice was particularly against having involvement with Clara, sharing the sentiment shared amongst their classmates that she was overly strange and should be avoided, Iruma-kun was the kind of soul to be unable to refuse another's request. When she asked him to please play with her, he couldn't resist. This was when she actually found herself having fun playing with somebody, and Iruma-kun being able to enjoy the fun and games. Alice was still very hesitant and seemed to be vocally against an involvement with Clara in partaking in these games, but he still played along with her, which might suggest he was secretly also having fun. However, Clara ended up overhearing how some other students she'd been spending time with, demons who were clearly using her for her abilities, chatting about what else they'd asked from her and laughing about how nobody would put up with her if she didn't have her powers. Afraid to lose her potential new friends, Clara increased her efforts of trying to keep Alice, and particularly Iruma-kun, near her, so they keep playing with her and giving her attention. She'd keep offering more sweets, offering drinks, offering toys, anything she could think of to make them happy. When Iruma-kun refused to take those things from her, she grew upset and was likely very afraid that she'd lose her new playmates and they would end up being the same as everyone else she'd met. That as soon as they didn't want her stuff anymore, they'd leave her alone. This was when Clara finally heard something she didn't realize she had been waiting to hear her entire life until that point. Iruma-kun calmed her down, trying to reassure her and make sure she was listening to him properly as he explained why he didn't want those things. He didn't need toys, snacks, or anything else in return for playing with her. Iruma-kun was thankful to get them from Clara's gifts, but he felt overwhelmed by constantly receiving them without feeling like he truly earned them. He explained that he wanted to have fun with her. Iruma-kun reassured Clara that he had lots of fun with her and wanted to continue spending time with her, even without getting anything else from her. Clara was blown away by this revelation, by the sudden freedom and relief that washed over her of finally finding somebody like her family. Somebody that accepted her for who she was. Somebody who enjoyed being with her, just for herself and nothing else, and didn't need to be bribed or coerced into spending time with her. This was when she was able to finally find solace in her new companions that would treat her how she deserved to be treated, how she wanted to be treated for so long. Once she officially befriended Iruma-kun and Alice, learning they would be the true friends she'd been waiting to enter her life, she soon cut ties with those who were simply using her. She stopped letting others use her as a doormat and refused to keep giving them free things like snacks. She becomes deeply attached to her new friends Alice and Iruma-kun, treating them like a second family away from home and becoming very protective of them, attaching herself to them and sometimes ending up feeling frustrated when either of them can't play with them. Clara has shown new signs of herself, such as a newfound jealousy that arose when a new person began to take up Iruma-kun's time and attention, the student council president, Azal Ameri, although this jealousy was from him playing with Ameri instead of her. Through her interaction with Iruma-kun and Alice, she slowly matured over time as she spent her days with them and began to accept herself more for who she was. No longer having to hide her personality or try to entice others through bribes, she does try to learn how to seduce others, though when her jealousy of Ameri playing with Iruma-kun resurfaces. Although these attempts seem to fall short, her chances seem low when she starts taking seduction classes. When the teacher used her abilities to see how seductive Clara was, it was revealed that she had even less seductiveness than a newborn baby, proving just how innocent she was. Despite her constant efforts to improve herself, following the advice and rules of others on how to change herself to appear more attractive, none of them seemed to work for Clara. This made her sad, and she was able to give up on looking beautiful, but Iruma-kun stepped in again. He reminded her no matter what, she was still a girl, meaning he saw her as a girl, potentially hinting that he could at least see her as potentially attractive, even when she wasn't trying to change herself. He appreciated and saw Clara for who she was, which boosted her confidence in herself back up once more. Just quickly interrupting today's video to let you all know that our merch store has received an update. Finally, at last, we have released our 70K merch. If you're interested in picking up some high quality merch, the link will be in the top line of the description. I recommend hurrying. Though some items are limited and will only be available for a limited time, these items are also signed by James Seifer. And if you use code WTC70K, you will save 10% on any merch purchase until August 31st. So hurry while you can. Link in the description below, and thank you all for 70K subscribers. Now let's get back to the video. Returning to her deep dive on Valac Clara, there are some things we'd like to explore about her name itself. Picking apart meanings, themes, and potential symbolism in a name can always open up new ways of viewing a character, how much their name reflects their personality and them as a person, and more. Whilst we can't obviously guarantee the analysis of breaking down a name is always intentional with the meanings and usage of it when creators assign names to characters, it is always interesting to see how much still aligns in anything else that could simply become a new fun headcanon. The name Clara itself isn't distinctly known for being Japanese and is more widely used as a European name, such as in German, Spanish, French, and more. If we look at the late Latin usage of it specifically, the name Clara appears to be a feminine form of Clarus. Clarus meant clear, bright, and famous in late Latin, which definitely seems to link to the Clara we see in the series. She is bright and bubbly in personality. She tends to be pretty transparent in her feelings and makes her intentions well known, although she perhaps more known as being infamous rather than strictly being famous. Something interesting to note, that may be an interesting coincidence but is still something that ties her somewhat to Iruma-kun, is that when her name is viewed in Romanji, it's spelled as Kurara. The name Kura by itself may be a diminutive of the name Sakura, meaning cherry blossom. What is the plant Iruma-kun grows during his first diabotany class? That's right, a giant cherry blossom tree. The name Sakura can also be broken down using different kanji characters. For example, a different usage of the element Ra can mean good, virtuous, and respectable. The deliberate repetitiveness may just be to make the name sound close to Clara, but it could also be a secret or unintentional link to how good and virtuous she's revealed to be in the show, having more innocence than a newborn in terms of seduction and generally being a very kind girl. Meanwhile, Clara's family name Valac is a little harder to pin down for finding previous uses or meanings. However, we did manage to find the name of the 20th king of Gondor in Tolkien's Legendarium, Valacar. Valacar appears to mean Vala Helm in Kenya, with Vala also having reference to the Valar. Valar likely has ties to valor, and the image of strength and having courage in dangerous situations, especially when in battle. While perhaps not a direct link to Clara herself, it shouldn't go unnoticed that when used tactically and in the right ways, her summoning abilities are strong. Her mother has also shown some feats of strength and power within the series, and may be playing somewhat into the strong single mother trope. Although it's undetermined if Clara's mother is divorced or is actually raising most of her children alone, we have yet to see the father, who's been acknowledged to be alive. His location simply remains a mystery. Looking again into the Romanji spelling of her name, Clara's family name becomes Uraku. What stands out here, in particular, is a potential usage of the element raku, which can mean comfort and music. Clara is definitely well known for ties to music within the series. In fact, her family has had a dedicated musical number in the anime to introduce themselves as part of a way to prove how unusual and weird they are in canon. It wouldn't be a stretch to say that Clara is a character that both seeks comfort and brings comfort to others, or at least to Iruma-kun. On the topic of Clara's family name, as we brought up before, her relationship with her family is generally very positive. Even though she shares the same pain as anyone who has siblings who find them annoying, she loves all of them very much. Clara respects her mother and looks up to her, opening up to her for advice and happily joining her in song. One thing that is notable about Clara's relationship with her family is, as you may have already guessed, her father. It's unknown if she simply doesn't remember him, but she's previously claimed to her friends that she doesn't know his face. Whether Clara's father has been away too often or has been absent is undetermined. Still, it is assumed he is likely alive in some capacity, and may be the one looking after one of her brothers, Valac Urara. Urara is the eldest son, a younger brother to Clara, being the second-born child. His personality has been shown to be very different from the rest of the Valac family we've seen, even leading Clara's homeroom teacher, Kaligo-sensei, to ask Clara's mother if he was kidnapped from another family. Urara appears to be a surprisingly level-headed boy. Although whether he lives with his mother or father isn't entirely determined, as well as it was hinted that his appearance or whereabouts were previously unknown, he did show up at Clara's house during the teacher's visit. However, this may have simply been because Kalego-sensei was visiting. Clara's bloodline magic, the magic that gives her the ability to create items or summon people or animals from her pockets, runs in her family as a whole. But whilst this power are definitely a big part of her character and have helped shape her personality, they aren't the only powers she has. Remember when we said that strength might not be an immediate tie to Clara's character? Well, she's been shown to be quite physical at times and has personal melee attacks she's used before in the series. From kicks to her rolling and crashing into things, she seems at least somewhat capable of close-up fighting. Although it is important to note that her Clara rolling move, where she uses her body to turn into a wheel-like formation and rolls instantaneously, and her slipper kick move, where she uses both of her feet to smack anything in its way, has only been seen used in the anime. Linking to the comfort and musical themes taken from her name earlier, she has also been shown to have specifically soothing voice as well. Clara often uses this ability to calm her similarly energetic siblings down. She personally calls this her special sleep ritual and uses her lap as a pillow. Another interesting factor relating to her family, or her family name in particular, is there is actually in-universe usage of the name Valac. It's unknown if they are related, or how close they are, or if he's entirely mythical, but according to the world's lore, there's a famous demon who uses the name Valac. The name is seen in demonology specifically, which is likely the demon world version of mythology. In demonology, Valac is represented as an influential figure who had 30 legions of demons under his command as the president of Hell, potentially suggesting an ancient form of democracy over monarchy within the demon's world's history, or at least a desire of it. Or at least a desire for it. Valac was known for being able to shine clarity onto various subjects, such as revealing where serpents could be seen and delivering them back to their summoner, and could reveal true facts and information about hidden treasures. When given his appearance, he's apparently depicted as a small boy riding on top of a two-headed dragon. He also apparently had angel-like wings, which is an interesting detail as most demon wings are bat-like. This actually helps us circle right back around to the previously speculative assumption of linking King Valacar of Gondor from Tolkien's Legendarium, a man of power with symbolism relating to the image of valor, strength, and courage in battle. Perhaps Clara's family has some influential ancestors that have now been lost to history and become myths, similarly to humans. Overall, Valac Clara is a lovable goofball of a deuteragonist, and while she can be pretty eccentric and seems to be quite chaotic and random in nature, she helps to bring an exciting flair to Iruma-kun's life, and her friendship with him has allowed her to bloom and open up as her own person, or as her own demon. Well, what do you think? What are your opinions on Clara? Do you think she might end up as something more than a friend with Iruma-kun? Are you waiting to see even more of her soon? Well, you might not all have to wait too long for more answers and questions to start rising, as Season 3 has been announced to begin airing in October of 2022. We will all be looking forward to seeing more of the adventures Clara has with Iruma-kun and Alice, and will all be supporting the fantastic creators behind the series. We encourage all of our lovely viewers to support these creators as well. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in all this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials has got you covered. Our We the Celestials My Hero Academia and Naruto What If channels retell the story of their namesake anime with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, then I'd like to extend you an invitation to join the team. The only caveat being that we only accept members from 16 years and up to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interests by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. And if you want more content from me, check me out on my social medias at Trina on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and more. Well, that's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching and have a great day.